Hello, in this class today on Matlab, we are going to be looking at how to launch Matlab, working in command window, array and matrix operation in Matlab, plotting in Matlab, automation of tables in Matlab, find solution to civil engineering problems through programming, and finally, mathematical operations in Matlab. For this class to be effective to you, I suggest and I request that as you're watching this video clip, that you pick up your laptop and do as we say. Now we're going to start from how to launch Matlab. So now go to your desktop. You can see there, click on Matlab. Click on the Matlab icon. Once you click on Matlab icon, the Matlab will be launched. Now once the Matlab is launched, this is what you're going to see. This is what we call the command window. This point now is what we call the command window. And the other one at the left here is a command window, and we normally know it by seeing the double a greater than sign that appears on the left hand side of it. You can see there. Now this other side is workspace window. This is where you see whatever the size of every command that you have imputed. So now let's look at this. If you look at your left hand side, you see that you have what you call script, new script. So when you want to write a script, we'll get to that. This is what you use. The other one is to start a new program. The other one is to open an existing program, and other tools that is here on the toolbar. So now what we are going to do is that we are going to look at some applications, some applications in Matlab. So now the second thing, we have successfully launched the Matlab. The second thing we're going to do is to work on it. Let's go back a bit. We have successfully worked on Matlab. So the next thing to do now is for us to, okay, so working in command window. Let's see how we can work in command window. Let's pick number 2. Now we're going to see how to work in command window. Command window is just like a calculator in Matlab. The one thing here is that anything you do here, you cannot correct it unless you start fresh. You can see what there, you type in 23, just do the same thing. Type in 23 plus 4. The answer is 27. You can see how the system displayed. Now you can see that we have cleared everything on the screen, and the command we used was CLC, enter. Now look at the workspace. You can see even if the command window is empty, there is nothing in command window. But when you look at the workspace window, you can see values stored inside the memory of the MATLAB. So for you to clear it, you type clear. Clear will clear everything on the workspace. So the workspace, the RAM of the MATLAB is now free. Now for you to clear every other thing that is on the command window, you use what? CLC. So that is how it is done. So let's take some other examples and see how it goes. So now you type in A is assigned to 5. A is assigned to 5, and B is assigned to 10. Now, you're going to see the reason why we say MATLAB is case sensitive. Now, if you want to say C is assigned to small letter A, okay, is assigned 20, and D is assigned plus A plus B. Remember, this is small letter A and small letter B. You will see an error message will be displayed. You can see the system did not understand. Say undefined function or variable A. That shows that A capital and A small letter is not the same thing. So the system is not asking you whether you mean A capital plus B capital, which is what is supposed to be. So if you click enter, the answer will appear. Look at it. The answer is 15. Now, look at the lower side of your left hand side. You can see that everything that is being done here is stored at the workspace. Now, you can see A is a scalar, and that scalar is 5. Look at it there. And B is also a scalar, and that scalar is 10. So everything that we are inputting here is being recorded at the workspace. Everything is stored as a matrix. It's either stored as a scalar matrix or is stored as a vector matrix. So we have cleared the screen once again. Let's try to do one other operation. Now we are going to create a vector value instead of scalar this time. You know, the other ones that we have been creating before are scalar. So, but we are going to create at this time, we're going to create vector matrix. After we have finished creating this scalar matrix to show us how we can multiply things, you can see we have A to be 20 and B to be 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. So you can see there. Please look closely. Please always differentiate between brackets and parentheses. Always differentiate between brackets and parentheses. It's very important. If you use parentheses where you're supposed to use brackets, the system will produce an error message. So we want to multiply A, which is a scalar, times B, which is a vector. Now remember, what we want to do here is what we call array multiplication. And since it's array multiplication, please, you're going to put dot before you put times. Look at it there, A dot star, A dot star. You can see A dot star B. So we have used A, which is 20, to multiply B, which is a vector matrix. And what the system is going to return, the system returns 40, 80, 120, 140, 160, and 160. So this is how, so you anything you want to multiply, you can multiply it using either the values are scalar or the values are vector. So one advantage of this and one advantage Matlab has is that it gives us this opportunity, it gives us this room to be able to do an operation that is iterative, that is repetitive. Like an example, maybe you want to convert from 1 degree to 500 degrees. You want to convert it to radian. You can see that it will be very easy for you. Now, from 1 to 500 is a vector matrix that ranges from 1 to 500. And you know, for you to convert degree to radian, you need to multiply by pi all over 180. So when you multiply this pi all over 180 times the vector, which is what? Which is from 1 to 500, it will automatically give you the conversion of this degrees to radian. So that is it. You can see the next operation there. Now we are typing a matrix of 4 by 4. Now, the way it appears here, now you can see the way you enter it in Matlab. Now, when you enter the first row, you use semicolon to differentiate it from the second row. After the second row, you use semicolon to differentiate from the third row. After the third row, you put another semicolon. Now, each of these elements in this matrix has a name and a position. You can see there, I want to call up 2, element 2, the first element there. What I did is to, I will say, I will assign it to a value. I will say B bracket 1 comma 1. B is the element set name, while 1 comma 1 is the position of the element in the set. So that is why you can see that 2 appeared there. Now we want to do another one. We want to call up the other position there. So we have 1 comma 2. 1 comma 2 is going to display 4. 4 is a value that has that positional number. So look at it. So when you press enter, you're going to see what is going to be returned. So let's try this out. You can see we have error because we put 1 comma 2 dot dot 1 comma 3. The system did not accept it. You can see there is an error message. That is not how to call up values. So remember, the first comma is the row, while the second value is the column. The first value is the row, while the second value is the column. So this one, we are still going to see another error message. We are going to see another error message. We see it, there's another error message because that is how the system can't accept such a command, because that is not how to call up a command in Matlab. That is not how to call up a command in Matlab. So it's either you want to put one semicolon, 2. If you put 1 semicolon 2, that means you're talking about column row 1 and 2. That is what you mean, row 1 and 2. Once you put comma, you're not talking about the column. Once you put comma, you're talking about the column. But if you don't put comma and you put 2 semicolon, any value, you're talking about only the row. Only the row. Once you put comma, you're not talking about the column. So what you're doing here is how you can call up different elements from a particular set. So that is what we are trying to do here. So we look at it properly. We look at it on a very good point of view and know how to call up this value, because this is the most interesting part of Matlab. If you can be able to call up any element from each set, you have solved 80% of your problem, so that you can be able to interact with all the elements. You can be able to interact with everything you want to. So it is very important to understand this part very well. Repeat it, repeat it, how to call it up. You can see this one. We have called up row 1 and row 2. Look at it. Row 1 and row 2. And we kept column 1 empty. So that is why we have 1 dot dot 2. 1 dot dot 2, meaning from row 1 to row 2. And that column should be left empty. Anytime you see comma, semicolon, means that the column is left empty. So that is what we are seeing here. That is what we are seeing here. So that is what we're seeing. So we continue. We want to call up this. We want to call up here. We are going to have an empty. We have empty row. You can see that we have empty row, comma 2 dot dot 3, meaning that we are calling up row 2 to row 3. Row 2 to row 3. We have done that. So we have shown you how to work in command window, array matrix operation. We have done that. Then we are at number 4, plotting in Matlab. Plotting in Matlab. We are going to see how we can be able to plot in Matlab. So for us to do that, we need to clear this one that we have done already. You can see the whole operation that we have done. So we need to clear it. So clearing it now, we are going to use CLC to clear. We're going to use CLC to clear. But you can still do your plotting operation on this same page. It doesn't stop you from doing anything that you want to do. It not stop you from doing it. So let's do one more array multiplication. You can see there we multiplied arrow, which is a matrix of column 1 to 2. We multiply it by 5. We multiply it by 5 and look at what it has given us. Look at what it has given us. So clear, clear, clear. So you do clear. We clear the workspace. You can see the workspace is free. We clear the screen so that we can go to another thing. And this level we are now, we are on plotting. So if you want to plot, you must declare the value of your x and y. You must declare the value of your x and y for 2D plotting. But if it is a 3D plotting, you declare the values of your x, your y, and your z. You declare the value of your s and y, your z. Now look at what has happened there. You can see the error message. I'm trying to create a vector of x, a vector of x. Now, because I didn't put brackets, the system did not understand what I'm trying to say. That is why the system returned an error message. Now look at this. I have added my brackets. Now that I have added brackets, you're going to see what is going to happen. You're going to see what is going to happen. You're not going to see this error message again. You're not going to see this error message again because I have added my brackets. So the next variable vector I'm going to call up is y. I've called up z. I want to call up y. So y vector. So let's look at y. You put your brackets. So most times it's either you use space or use comma. Either you use space or use comma. Two of them serves the same thing. They serve the same thing. So anyone you feel like using, you're free to use it. So I have created my two vectors, x and y vector. X and y vector. So it's now time to plot. So if I want to plot this graph, I will now invoke the plot command. The plot command or the plot function. And just for you to type plot brackets x and y. Remember that MATLAB is case sensitive. Now see what will happen. If we type in small letter y, small letter x and the small letter y, you will see that the system is going to return an error message. The system is going to return an error message telling you that the character, the variable you have imputed here is different that from the variable you have declared. You can see it now. This is an error message showing that the variable you have declared is different from the variable that you want to plot. It's different from the variable you want to plot. So it must be capital letter the way you have defined it, because I always say it that MATLAB is case sensitive. So since it's case sensitive, if you any variable you declare as capital letter, you must maintain it as capital letter. Any variable you display as small letter, you have to make it up a small letter. So now we have plot x and y. You can see now we have made it capital letter. So this is what we are going to appear. This is a simple graph that we have plotted. Now you observe that this graph does not have the title, it does not have axis and everything. Thank you.